Where do you want to park? Because he...
They do seem to. Yeah. Mine as well.
I hadn't even noticed it.
Hello and welcome to a video taken at INGATESTONE Hall, July the 24th. INGATESTONE Hall down in Essex. This is the Daimler and Lanchester Owners Club Great Eastern Rally for 2016. This is the actual INGATESTONE Hall itself. So what I'm going to do is have a walk around and just have a look at the cars, give you an idea of what's here. I'll have a little talk about each individual car as I get to them. I can only give you the benefits of my knowledge, so there may be some mistakes or there may be some things that I don't know enough about, which I apologise for in advance. But I'm just going to start with our own car, 61 Chrysler New Yorker 4-door hardtop, only one in the UK that I've been claiming for the 13 years we've owned it, and no one's ever said I've got one of those too. So there you go. It came over to the UK in '89, and as I say, I've owned it for 13 years, done a lot of work on it, and there she is. So I'm just going to pan round now. There's Ruthie having a chat with our neighbours in their lovely little Rover 12. She's getting over a broken or chip bone in her ankle, so she's really struggling to walk on the uneven ground here. This is why I'm doing the video. So we've got a nice little Triumph Vitesse convertible there, a Mark 5 Escort Estate that's crept its way in here, and this is a Lomax, which basically a three-wheeler based on Citroen 2CV. So we're just walking along here, and there's a unusual little three-wheeler, obviously very common in their time because a lot of these only needed a motorcycle licence to drive them. So there you go, motorcycle engine in the front of it as well. So this, I believe the model of this is a Bond mini car, if I'm right. Quite unusual now, and probably quite valuable in its own right as well. So I'm going to have a walk round, go around the outside here. There's a little group of three-wheelers. There's a little Messerschmitt, quite rare, quite valuable. Bond Bug. Jaguar XJ40. Not so many years ago, and not really that sought after, but now quite popular. A little BSA. Unusual to see them in car forms. We're all used to them being, obviously being motorcycles. BSA standing for British Small Arms. We've got a little Volvo, if I'm not mistaken. That's a 144. Oh no, it's a 121. So there you go, 1966. Even back then they were built like a tank. Quite a durable, strong old car. Nice example of a little Singer. Have a little look under the bonnet. We'll take the opportunity while the bonnet's up. There you go. Nicely detailed along with the rest of the car. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, glass, ignition coil. Yeah, and this show has always allowed the incorporation of classics. So here we are with a Porsche. So in with classics, they said thoroughbreds as well, and you can't get much more thoroughbred than a later 911 MGB Roadster, always very popular, 1965. That's quite nice. 65 also could have pull handles on the doors. I see this one's got push button, but it was a sort of a crossover year where they went from pull handles to push button. Austin 1300.
I heard it on the radio.
Very, very popular car when I was working in independent garages. Obviously early 70s. We used to see a lot of these coming. They did a GT version as well as obviously the 1100. Again, a modern classic, 89 Volvo Estate. Very, very popular with business people who used to do a lot of miles because they did the miles so well. And again, back onto the thoroughbred theme, Aston Martin. Whatever model Aston Martin, always very, very attractive. It's a nice old thing as well. Daimler double six, the 5.3 litre V12 engine. Again now, well, when they came out just at the time when fuel prices soared, that really hit the sales of them, so there weren't that many of them made. But now very, very sought after. Especially the Daimler, they made less Daimlers than the Jaguar because the Daimler had a more luxurious trim, and they made less 12s than the 6s, so being a Daimler V12, very, very rare these days. I'm not sure what model that is in the background, but a Lancia. Lancias were very popular where I used to work in the 70s because we had a main dealer not that far from us. So, we used to get quite a few of the regular everyday ones, Betas and Deltas and things like that. Little Citroen, not sure what garage that is, what model that is. I see it's Harrow Garage, that were actually a Citroen agent, so that's possibly even the original number plates. And the very, very popular Austin 7. I can't believe that my parents actually owned one of these before I was born, and regularly used to take their parents to Southend for the day in it, and they were all quite big people. It's amazing they all got in there. And now we're over to a car that when I started work, as I say, in the early 70s, we didn't really think anything of. They were just a normal car, but now again very, very popular. This is the 1300E model of the Mark 1 Escort. Higher trim. Pretty sure they may even have done a GT, put a GT cam in them to liven them up a bit. Nice pair of Capris. One is a Tickford Turbo. Tickford were a company that used to take these cars and modify them. You can see this one's got the 2.8 V6 fuel injected turbocharged engine in it. Again, very, very rare now these days, especially a Tickford. And there's what I would call a regular 2.8 injection Capri next to it. Not mistaken, this is a Sunbeam Talbot, yes. Over the back, nice old Rolls Royce. If I'm not mistaken, that's a Mark 6. Very, very nice example. As you can see, it's nice to see a car show like this with such a variance of different cars. It's nice to actually see some thoroughbreds out in amongst all the classics as well. Another thoroughbred here, a TBR. Traditionally got the Rover V8 in various different guises. TVR, as some people may know, some people may not. TVR is actually 3 letters out the man who started the company's name, and his name was Trevor, so he called it a TVR. And here we go, TR7. Again, in their time, not really that popular. Had lots of reliability issues. I remember getting them in, and we used to have all sorts of problems because they had the Dolomite engine that really, like the overhead cam Dolomite engine that struggled with head gasket problems. And in TR7 form they were no different, but of course, as all of these things at the time, no one really wanted them, but now everyone sought after them. Lancia Flavia, very nice. Don't see many of those around either. Obviously Italian styling. And here we have a Jowett Javelin, air-cooled engine. They did a sports version of this called the Jowett Jupiter. Just going to pan round quickly because we have a nice little RSA Tourer just making its way along the field. Lovely. So back to where I was. Another Javelin. This gives you an idea of the rear view of it. Fastback, very aerodynamic, quite nice. Mark 1 Capri, in its day, a very popular car. Very, very, made in quite big numbers, but because they were an everyday car and sort of used to death, there's not really that many that survive today. I remember a friend of mine had the 3-litre version. They put the 3-litre Essex V6 in them. Very, very quick car of its time. And here we have the Capri with the old, jolly old 1600 Pinto engine in it. Very, very popular engine in its time. Quite reliable really as well. The only things the early ones really suffered from was camshafts used to wear out on them with monotonous regularity. I'm just going to end the video there because got to the end of the line, so I'm just going to make my way around and start another video the other time, the other place.